All right, Shalom. Want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto you. How about Shema Shaba, Shema Kakwadash, double honor to the apostle and others, great millstone. Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. Yeah, I wanted to do something on this article. It was earlier in the month, but it was pertaining to November. Last November, it says a record 4.5 million Americans quit their jobs in November. You know, we in those times, starting off with the apostle on down, we've been saying for years, the apostle starting off decades, literally, about it's going to be times where these jobs is going to be insufficient. A lot of these different job departments that most people are going to, desire to work or have work, they're no longer going to be able to actually work these jobs, whether they're quitting because they're too damn sick, their job doesn't match the affordability of the economy that they're living in, amongst so many other things, harsher rollouts from these different departments and supervisors. It's a slew of reasons why a lot of these individuals are working these jobs. Hell, in the midst of the pandemic, I quit my job. Of course, I transitioned to something else, but a lot of people, they're tired of the bullshit, man. Like I said, a lot of people are getting sick in these different hospitals and these different medical departments, and they no longer want to risk their lives. And then they're having on top of that all kind of austerity measures, measures of, more aggressive requirements, I'll say, more so, for them to get jabbed, get pricked, or they'll have to lose their job. They'll dock their pay. A lot of these different jobs where a lot of individuals have been working for years, and they haven't even got some type of pay raise or any type of elevation in the position that they're in. But then they'll see some, so-called Johnny come lately pop in, and they're in a better position than them, which puts a lot of people in the mindset of basically being depressed and oppressed. But I'm going to jump into it. It says a record 4.5 million Americans voluntarily left their jobs in November, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Yeah, and Esau, he keeps his eyes on all these numbers. They have these different bureaus to just study numbers, man. It says this pushed the quits rate to 3%, matching the high from September. Workers were most likely to quit their jobs in the hospitality industry, which had by far the highest quit rate at 6.1% in November, as well as those in healthcare. The numbers in transportation, warehousing, and utility also increased. Yeah, so people all over the board, they're tired of the shits, man. And a lot of people are tired of their bosses. Hell, a lot of these different bosses on top of that are quit. It's not just regular employees. You got these supervisors. They're tired of it. They're tired of all these different hard up requirements for them to work longer hours, take them away from their families. And like I said, for what? Because a lot of these companies, they're not willing to pay you more. They're just giving you more and more hours. And then we all understand how tax bracket work. Well, for the ones that don't know, when you work more and more hours, you put yourself in a higher tax bracket. That's why they'll put you, that's why they'll give you time and a half. Not because they're nice after 40 hours, but because you hit a different tax bracket where your tax rate, dramatically increases. That just basically tears up your all the income that you think you might receive. It says workers continue to quit their jobs at a historic rate. The low wage sectors directly impacted by the pandemic continue to be the source of much of the elevated quitting, said Nick Bunker, director of the research at the Indeed Hiring Lab, in emailed comments. The big question for 2022 is whether this dynamic will persist. And I believe through the spirit it will, and we know, as a matter of fact, we know through the spirit it will because it's prophecy. All right, I'm going to get some scriptures to go into it. It says the high quit rate is a symptom of the tight labor market where workers can quickly find a new and potentially better job. Yeah, and the thing is, too, with this, the labor market, a lot of people have died in these different positions, which has put certain people in a position to actually want to transition, and then there was a lot of financial grants that was, PPPs and SBA, so on and so forth, that was received through certain small business owners and things of that nature, then they was like, all right, you know what, I love I just quit my job. On top of the market of actually doing your own thing, and not actually having to go to these different warehouses, because these warehouses equal death, man. I spoke on an article a few days ago about it was before Christmas, where Amazon put out that these, they already warned their employees that you're gonna actually feel like killing yourself. Suicide. You're gonna have feelings of suicide after this aggressive holiday season. But like I said, they try to give them certain things to actually relieve them, alleviate their symptoms. Actually give them more breaks, higher pay. Certain benefits in the aftermath of the work. Take time off in the new year. More days off. Nah, they want to give you less days off, if anything. Like, they're trying to work you to the point of death. And that's how, and man wasn't designed to actually work these crazy ass shifts any damn way. Slave yard shifts, better known as graveyard shifts, working at night, throwing off your circadian rhythm. You're throwing off your whole vibration just to make these sorry ass greenbacks that's just gonna go towards whether your rent, your car payment, so on and so forth. And I'm not gonna have it too long because it's camp time. Got to be heading to camp through the spirit. But this is the times that we're living in, man. And this is the point where America's not gonna be able to recover. A lot of people are just totally, they're fed up. And that's why you even have certain executive orders that even your boy Obama put into office for 2/3. Jake loved him some Obama. He passed certain legislations to have it where, in times of crisis, in times of pandemic, that they could actually take citizens and forcefully work on, whether it's the railroad, whether it's these different warehouse facilities, whether it's these different medical industries. Hell, we seeing what's going on now. We're seeing individuals actually teaching classes that ain't got no business teaching classes because what? It's an actual teacher shortage. You got individuals around the neighborhood that's actually supervising because there was so many stabbings and kids that's not listening to their teachers and what. Now they're having the alternative of digital learning. And then it was an extremely short supply within actually feeding these different children in these different schools. On top of how they're actually, all these kids have to wear masks and they have to have these plexiglasses and things of that nature. And that's just the educational department. How many more of these other warehouses? This shit's feel dystopian. I used to work these different jobs and they'll have you they damn near don't even want you to talk to each other at this point. You talk to each other, you might get a fucking citation because you could possibly spread COVID. Nobody's trying to live under those conditions, but these are the times that we're living in. Isaiah 19:15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Yeah, and these different departments, hell, a lot of them have labor shortages because they dropped a lot of their employees due to the fact of not having enough supplies and things of that nature. It's a lot of different variables that's taking place that's totally crippling America as well as these other countries. This is Sirach 12:3. I'm just gonna read 3 and 4. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. What's the grind work? What does the grind represent? It represents work. Whenever you're on your grind, you on the clock, punching in, punching out. Clocking in with your EIN, your employee identification number. But it says because there are few, yeah. So the labor market is getting more and more scarce, and a lot of people aren't looking to pick up the slack because what they're doing on a lot of these different jobs, if people getting fired, they want you to damn near work like you 4 men in one, and they might give you 35 cents. It says, and those that look out the window be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sounding of the grind is low. Yeah, so a lot of these doors are shut. A lot of people just in the house doing TikTok videos. I had a drive to New Orleans the other day, and I was talking to an individual, and I was asking them, is it as bad as it was back in the day when they actually had the Magnolia projects and all these different projects, up. He was like, nah. He said everybody in the house. He said everybody in the house doing all these damn TikTok challenges and YouTube videos and things of that nature. So we're living in a time where, like it says, the door's shut in the streets. And it says, and shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, that's a topic for another time, this horrible, atrocious music, But, I just wanted to hit the point on the market, the job market, employee unemployment rate, and how things is going to gradually get worse. But we got to trust in Yahweh Shema Shah, As things get worse, we have to capitalize. That's what the prophets and the men of the Lord would do. Not capitalize to find a better job, but we would learn to be more resourceful, learn to know how to use all these different negatives and channel it to a positive. So hopefully, brothers, and a few sisters will edify them and end about giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shemar, Kakodash. Double honor to the apostle and elders, great millstone. Shalom, Makia.